Hello dear students and welcome to this new lesson in the series of English lessons on the أونروا satellite TV channel. Welcome back. Dear students, if you compare your actions and behaviors of today with those of the past, you'll find everything is quite different. So everything changes, nothing stays as it is. For example, if you look at yourself in the past, you would find that your father used to help you in your studies. Nowadays, you can study yourself without any help. Also, in the past, you didn't used to go to the libraries. Nowadays, you visit libraries all the time. So dear students, our lesson today is about expressing past habits. In this lesson, we are going to learn about how to express past habits. Now to start our lesson, let's read about our friend Fatin, who will tell us about her old memories. Let's start reading. Fatin says, "When I was a child, my mother was a carpet weaver, and I used to help her. I'd get the colored wool ready for her. I used to watch her weave the traditional patterns. Her carpets used to be beautiful. She taught me how to weave. My first piece was a belt. We didn't used to have a TV. And in the evening, we'd often sit and tell traditional stories and sing folk songs. Nowadays, my grandchildren watch TV and play computer games, which I didn't used to play. I hope they don't forget the old traditional ways." Now, dear students, let's read about our friend Fatin again in order to answer some questions. "When I was a child, my mother was a carpet weaver, and I used to help her. I'd get the colored wool ready for her. I used to watch her weave the traditional patterns. Her carpets used to be beautiful. She taught me how to weave. My first piece was a belt. We didn't used to have a TV. And in the evening, we'd often sit and tell traditional stories and sing folk songs. Nowadays, my grandchildren watch TV and play computer games, which I didn't used to play. I hope they don't forget the old traditional ways." Okay, now after we have read about Fatin twice, let's go answering some questions. The first question, dear students, we have here is, what did Fatin used to do for her mother? Again, what did Fatin used to do for her mother? Let's get back to the paragraph in order to answer this question. In the paragraph, Fatin says, I used to help her. I used to help her. I used to watch her weave the traditional patterns. So here, in our question, what did Fatin used to do for her mother? The answer is, she used to help and watch her mother. She used to help and watch her mother. Let's have another question. In this question, what would Fatin do to help her mother? What would Fatin do to help her mother? Let's get back to our paragraph. In the text we have, I'd get the colored wool ready for her. Here Fatin says, I'd get the colored wool ready for her. So, the answer to this question, what would Fatin do to help her mother, is like this. She'd or she would get the colored wool ready for her. Again, she'd or she would get the colored wool ready for her mother. Now dear all, let's have another question. Did Fatin used to have a TV? Again, did Fatin used to have a TV? What do you think? Did she used to have a TV? Okay, let's get back to the paragraph. In the paragraph, Fatin says, we didn't used to have a TV. We didn't used to have a TV. So, the best answer to this question, did Fatin used to have a TV, is no, she didn't used to have a TV. She didn't used to have a TV. Now, dear students, let's have a closer look on some sentences. Here in the first sentence, Fatin used to help her mother. Fatin used to help her mother. Let's look at the photo here. This is Fatin's mother, and this is Fatin. Now, Fatin used to help her mother. Is she helping her mother now? Of course not. Does she help her mother nowadays? Of course not. Here, let's look at Fatin nowadays. This is Fatin nowadays, and this is Fatin in the past. Now, according to this picture, Fatin used to help her mother. Here, she used to help her mother in the past. Let's have a closer look on extra sentences. She used to watch her mother weave. She used to watch her mother weave. Look, she's watching her mother weave. Is she watching her now? Of course not. She used to watch in the past. Let's go on. Fatin didn't used to have a TV. Fatin didn't used to have a TV. Of course, Fatin didn't used to have a TV in the past, but nowadays we don't know. Let's go on. Fatin's mother didn't used to play computer games. Fatin's mother didn't used to play computer games. Now, dear students, let's have extra sentences. Let's look at this sentence. When Ali was 5 years old, he used to ride a bike. Now he doesn't. Again. When Ali was 5 years old, he used to ride a bike. Now he doesn't. Look at Ali. This is Ali when he was 5 years old. He used to ride a bike. What about Ali today? Let's look at Ali today. This is Ali, the same person. This is Ali when he was 5 years old. He used to ride a bike. But now, he does not ride bikes. So, in the first picture, Ali used to ride the bike when he was 5 years old in the past. But in the present, he does not ride any bikes. So, dear students, we can conclude the use of using used to and didn't used to. Here, we use used to and didn't used to plus the base form to express repeated states and actions in the past. Again, we use used to and didn't used to plus the base form to express repeated states and actions in the past. So, when we'd like to talk about repeated actions and the state in the past, we use used to and didn't used to. Let's go on. Expressing states. Let's look at this sentence together. I used to like fish, but now I don't. Again, I used to like fish, but now I don't. Look here, we have used to like fish. I used to like fish, but now I don't. So, dear students, this sentence expresses a state in the past. So, in the past, I used to like fish. Here, I used to like fish, but now I don't. So, I used to like fish in the past, but nowadays I don't like fish. Let's go ahead. In the second sentence, Ali didn't used to be happy, but now he's always happy. Again, Ali didn't used to be happy, but now he's always happy. In the past, Ali didn't used to be happy. He used to be sad all the time. But nowadays, he's always happy. So, dear students, we can emphasize that we use the structure of used to and didn't used to express habits and actions of the past. Let's go ahead. Here, we can also use used to express actions. Here, expressing actions. We used to go on holiday every summer. Again, we used to go on holiday every summer. This sentence expresses action. We used to go on holiday every summer. Here, we used to go in the past, but nowadays we don't go on holidays. Let's have another sentence. I used to live on a farm in the countryside. Again, I used to live on a farm in the countryside. I used to live. So, this is the past. I used to live here in the past. But nowadays, I live in the city. I don't live in the countryside or in the farm. So again, I used to live on a farm in the past in the countryside. So in the past, I used to live here, but nowadays, I live in the city. Let's go ahead. Let's look at this sentence. I didn't used to like milk, but nowadays, I drink it every morning. Again, I didn't used to like milk, but nowadays I drink it every morning. In the past, I didn't used to like milk, but nowadays I drink milk every morning, so I like it nowadays, but I didn't like it in the past. Let's go on. Here, dear students, we have the positive form of the structure used to. The positive form is just like this. We use used to plus the base form. We use used to plus the base form. For example, I used to like fish. I used to like fish. Maha used to sleep early, etc. What about the negative form of used to? Let's look together. In the negative form, we have didn't used to plus the base form. In the negative form, didn't used to plus the base form. For example, I didn't used to like milk. I didn't used to like milk. Maha didn't used to sleep late, etc. So far, dear students, we have talked about the structure and the use of used to and didn't used to. And we have learned about the positive form of used to and the negative form of used to. Now it's time to learn about the use of would. What about using would? If you are interested in learning about the use of would, be with us in the next part. But now let's have this short break. Welcome back. Now, dear students, let's go on to learn about the use of would. Now, let's read the following sentence in order to figure out the use of would. Let's read the sentence together. Every afternoon, my friends and I would talk for hours on the phone. Here, my friends and I would talk for hours on the phone. This sentence, dear students, expresses a past habit. So, nowadays, we do not talk on phones for hours. Let's go on. In the next sentence, after dinner, grandfather would sit and tell me all the stories from long ago. Again, after dinner, grandfather would sit and tell me all the stories from long ago. So here, my grandfather would sit and tell me all the stories from long ago. This sentence indicates something in the past. My grandfather has passed away. So he does not tell me all the stories from the past. But he used to, or he would, sit and tell me traditional stories from the past, of course, in the past and not now. Let's go on. Now, dear all, let's come to this conclusion. We use would or I'd in the contracted form plus the base form to express repeated habits in the past. Again, we use would plus the base form to express repeated habits in the past. Now, dear students, it's time to practice what we have talked about. Let's practice. The first exercise we have here is make sentences using used to, didn't used to, and would. Again, make sentences using used to, didn't used to, and would. Let's go on. The first sentence we have, my father read a story. My father read a story. Now, your mission, dear students, is to use used to and didn't used to make a sentence. Let's look together. My father used to read a story. My father used to read a story. Look, dear students, after used to, we use the base verb or the base form of the verb. Is this structure positive or negative? Is it in the affirmative form or in the negative form? Let's read it again. My father used to read a story. Of course, dear students, it's in the affirmative form. Can you make a sentence in the negative form using used to? Wonderful. So, in the negative form we have, my father didn't used to read a story. My father didn't used to read a story. Look, dear students, my father didn't use, not didn't used. My father didn't use to read a story. Let's go on. They have lunch in the restaurant. They have lunch in the restaurant. Let's have the sentence by using used to. They used to have lunch in the restaurant. They used to have lunch in the restaurant. What about the negative form? Well done. Here, they didn't used to have lunch in the restaurant. They didn't used to have lunch in the restaurant. Let's move to the next one. I work hard in the shop. I work hard in the shop. Here the sentence, I used to work hard in the shop. I used to work hard in the shop. In the negative form, I didn't used to work hard in the shop. I didn't used to work hard in the shop. Hani, his father, helped Wad in his work. Again, Hani, his father, helped Wad in his work. Let's use Wad to make a sentence. Here first, let's have the positive form. In the positive form, Hani would help his father in his work. Hani would help his father in his work. Here, dear students, we have would plus the base form of the verb. Hani would help. What about the negative form? Well done. Let's look together. Hani wouldn't help his father in his work. Hani would not or wouldn't help his father in his work. Here in the negative structure, we use would plus not plus the infinitive or the base form of the verb. Now, dear students, let's move to another exercise. Rearrange the following sentences. Rearrange the following sentences. 2. Abbas, a day, 10 hours used and work. Let's rearrange this sentence together. Here the sentence should start with the subject, which is Abbas. After that, we should use used to. Here Abbas used. What comes after used? Of course, to. Abbas used to. What comes after used to? Of course, here we should use the base form, which is work. So here Abbas used to work 10 hours a day. Abbas used to work 10 hours a day. Let's move to the next one. Buy what I present my family for. Let's make a sentence. I would buy presents for my family. I would buy presents for my family. Here I would buy. After would, we use the base form of the verb. Let's go ahead. Did catch Ali the bus to use not. Again, did catch Ali the bus to use a not. Can you rearrange this sentence yourself? Try your best. Well done, excellent students. Now let's look here. Ali did not use to catch the bus. Ali did not use to catch the bus. Now, dear all, let's move to another exercise. Here in this exercise we have choose the correct answer from the brackets. Choose the correct answer from the brackets. Let's look at the first sentence. I used or used to live on a farm in the countryside. I used or I used to. What do you think? Wonderful. Of course, I used to. So here, I used to live on a farm in the countryside. The next sentence, my best friend used to or used to live on the farm too. Again, my best friend used to or used to live on the farm too. What do you think? Great, wonderful. Here, my best friend used to live on the farm too. We didn't used to or used to like working on the farm. Again, we didn't used to or used to like working on the farm. Look, dear students, here we have didn't. After the structure of didn't, we use used to or used to. What do you think? Great, wonderful, we use used to. So here, we didn't used to like working on the farm. Now let's move to the next sentence. Here, my sister and I would or used to dress up warmly and play in the snow. What do you think? Here we have to. My sister and I would or used to dress up warmly and play in the snow. Can we use would to? Of course not. Here we would say, my sister and I used to dress up warmly and play in the snow. Here, used to dress up early and play in the snow. Let's move to the next sentence. In the next sentence we have, we used to or we didn't used to have a cinema or a sports center like we do now. Again, we used to or didn't used to have a cinema or a sports center like we do now. According to this sentence, now we have sports centers and cinema, but in the past, we didn't have sports centers or cinemas. So, excellent, thank you very much. We didn't used to have a cinema or a sports center like we do now. Thank you very much. Now let's have the last sentence. That used to or would be our favorite game. That used to or would be our favorite game. What do you think? Great, wonderful. That would be our favorite game. That would be our favorite game. Now, dear students, we have come to the end of our lesson. But before we go to the conclusion, let's have the last project for you to do at home. Here your project, ask and tell. Ask and tell. Write a paragraph about the things you used to do in the past and you don't do now. Use used to, would, and didn't used to. Again, write a paragraph about the things you used to do in the past and you don't do now. Use used to, would, and didn't used to. For example, if I'd like to talk about myself, I would say, I used to play in the street, but nowadays I don't. I used to ride a bike, but nowadays I don't ride bikes, and so on. Dear students, thank you very much for watching us in this lesson. I hope the lesson was interesting and beneficial at the same time. Until I see you next time, have a good day and goodbye.